40 games, 1 weekend, 1 aim. To achieve FUT Champions success, and only one man holds the key to said success, and his name, Glenn Murray. How's it going, guys? And welcome back to my ManLikeMurray Weekend League run. And we start things off in the 17th game, where we come up against this Serie A side, and my opponent would take the lead through 9 goaling as the ball bubbles to him and he slots the ball away well. Although as always we had an answer, as Glenn Murray gets a backheel assist to Martial, who slots the ball away well, making it 1-1 inside 12 minutes and putting us right back in the game. And we would in fact take the lead in this game, as Glenn Murray beats his man with the fake shot and slots the ball away at near post, giving us a 2-1 lead, and giving us the lead in a match where my opponent had been dominant but we'd taken our chances. But my opponent would have an answer as he plays the ball to Nainggolan, who scores yet again, and Nainggolan seems to be one of those players who always scores against me. My opponent would then make it 3-2 as he gets very lucky, as my keeper makes a poor punch, giving him an open goal to head the ball into. But Murray wasn't having any of it as he outstrengthens his man and slots the ball away at near post, making it 3-3 and levelling up the game. And unfortunately for us, my opponent's class would show through as he would go 4-3 up in the 86th minute, and he'd get the win in this match, and we'd have to wait until our next game to try and get our next win, where we come up against this French side with a few La Liga players, and we would take the lead in this match as Martial plays the ball to Kante, who finds Murray, who finds the back of the net with a finesse shot, as he always seems to do for us in this series, and we take the lead in the second half. And things were looking good until late on, my opponent played the ball over to Memphis Depay, who he had brought on as a sub, and he levels up the game in the 90th minute, sending this match into extra time, and I really should have held on in this game. And we'd be punished even more for bad defending, as another poor punch from Begovic leads to my opponent taking the lead in this game, and we pick up a 2-1 loss, and we get our second win on the bounce in this episode. So going into this next match, I knew I had to right a wrong and get a win, and I thought it would be fairly easy as this guy had a very average Premier League side, and we'd take the lead through Martial, who manages to put a low shot in off the post, and Martial's low shots are just ridiculous. Oxlade-Chamberlain then fancies a bit of the fun, and gets through on goal and puts away a low shot, just like Martial did, and we take a 2-0 lead. Martial then decides he wants to get a brace, and he makes it 3-0 in the game with another low shot, and puts this game to bed. And that's how it would end. We pick up a 3-0 win, and we get our 7th win, putting us only 1 win away from Silver 3. And in our next match, we get put up against another fairly average looking Premier League side, and we would take the lead as the ball's played into Glenn Murray, who finds the back of the net with an excellent volley. Although my opponent would then get a very lucky penalty, as Kurt Zuma makes a poor challenge, and unsurprisingly, as my opponent steps up to take this penalty, he puts it on Wayne Rooney, who we know is good from the spot, and he slots the ball away, levelling up the game inside 20 minutes. He would then take the lead as Coutinho gets on the end of a through ball, and this game had turned around inside 5 minutes of FIFA time. But as always we had an answer, and Glenn Murray slots the ball away well with a low shot on his left boot to make the game 2-2. And somehow we do it again as Oxlade-Chamberlain gets his head onto a cross and puts us 3-2 up in this game and gives us a lead in a game we were down in, and we just seem to be so good at comebacks in this series until suddenly my opponent manages to get a ball at backstick with Coutinho to make it 3-3, but then the EA servers disconnect us yet again. Going into the next match, we come up against a Premier League side with a few special cards and 3 bronzes who I knew my opponent would sub off, But we took advantage of those bronzes by taking the lead through Anthony Martial early on, and he puts away a low shot as he always does. And as I said when I bought this guy, he would single-handedly win us some games in FUT Champions, because he's just that good. We then double our lead as Oxlade-Chamberlain whips a ball into the box and Glenn Murray dispatches it well on his left boot, and we go 2-0 up inside 8 minutes, making this game look almost likely that we'd get a result. And we'd then make it 3-0 as Oxlade-Chamberlain gets in on the action, as the ball was bobbling around but he manages to finish it well into the bottom corner, and we go 3-0 up inside 23 minutes, and at this point, this game was over. I knew we were going to get the win. Now, it took us until the second half to make it 4-0, but Martial gets the ball played over the top to him from Murray, and he returns the favour as he dinks a lovely cross into near post, which Glenn Murray puts away well with his head, as he always has done for us in this series, and we take a 4-0 lead, and that's how it would end, and that win takes us into Silver 3 in FUT Champions. Going into our next match, my opponent had a few special cards but a fairly low chemistry side, so I thought I stood a good chance, but I was so wrong as he went through on goal in the second half and managed to take a 1-0 lead, and that's all that would happen in this game. We take a 1-0 loss to a guy that I really expected to beat. Okay, going into game number 6, we come up against a very solid looking team with Michael Owen up front, and my opponent would go 1-0 up as Christian Eriksen slots the ball away well into the bottom corner early on. He would then double his lead as Michael Owen finesses the ball in off the bar, making it 2-0 inside 15 minutes, and at this point I thought my opponent was going to put loads of goals past me, and this game was just going to be over. But we had a response as the ball's played through to Oxlade-Chamberlain, who finishes his chance well, making it 2-1 before half-time and putting us right back into this match. And the next big bit of action would come before half-time, as Oxlade-Chamberlain gets taken down in the box and we win ourselves a penalty. And we all know who steps up to take the penalties in this series. And Glenn Murray steps up to the penalty. I decide to put it in bottom right, and the keeper dives the wrong way, and we level things up, making it 2-2 in a game we were 2-0 down in just before the half-time break. And Glenn Murray scores yet another goal in FUT Champions, and things were looking good until Eric Dyer manages to find the back of the net from outside the box for my opponent, and I just gave him too much space. When he received the ball, I thought, Eric Dyer's never going to score from there, and so he did. And we remain in Silver 3 on 8 wins. Now, going into the last game for this episode, we get matched up against the Premier League side, and my opponent would take the lead as Mane drills a ball in, which takes a deflection off Van Dijk, and unfortunately we go 1-0 down. We managed to level things up in this game though, as Glenn Murray was too strong for Hector Bellerin, and he finishes his chance well into the bottom corner, making it 1-1 inside 17 minutes. But then a long through ball manages to get through my defence, and Romelu Lukaku gets through on goal, and it takes a lucky deflection off my keeper, but still manages to bobble into the back of the net. But then from the kickoff, from that goal, I knew we had to do something, and at this point I'd brought Ahmed Musa on as a super sub, and Murray plays the ball to Musa, who plays it back to Murray, who plays it back into Musa, who plays it back in to Murray, who finishes his chance, making it 2-2 and levelling up the match. And what a move from the kickoff to make things 2-2. But we weren't done there, as Murray plays an over-the-top through ball to Ahmed Musa, who manages to slot the ball underneath the goalkeeper in the 89th minute, making it 3-2, giving us our 9th win in FUT Champions and making us go ever closer to Silver 2. And that's where I'm going to end it. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe for more ManLikeMurray FUT Champions on my channel, and I will see you guys in the next one.